Hi everyone. So with us today in Garden State Comic Fest, day 2 is Jan Duursema. Jan is legendary, one of my favorite comic book creators. She has worked extensively on Star Wars comic books. Other than that, Atlantis and a lot of DC books as well. Her own creation is Hexadusk, and she is a Kubert School alumni and teacher. So, hey, welcome, Jan.
Hi, hi, Julia.
So, yeah, thanks for the time today. To start it off, we have a generic question. How has the con been for you today and yesterday?
Um, should I look at the camera or look at you?
You can just.
Oh, okay. It's been great. I'm seeing a lot of people I know, and a lot of people I've met before and don't know very much, but are getting to know better. So it's been a lot of fun. Meeting people, doing some sketches, showing them my book and my work and everything. It's been great.
And a Garden State Comic Fest, that's what I like about it because it's less people, less vendors. So creators get to interact with their fans, and fans get more time with creators, like FaceTime, looking through art, getting more art done. So that has been the generic sense throughout.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what's fun about it.
Yeah, that's why I like Garden State, and I know the Kubert School Fest is also coming up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of students here, ex-students, current students, a lot of people I went to school with. Yeah, so it's a homecoming, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So moving on, what's the next big thing? What are you working on? What's coming up? What people should be excited about?
Well, I'm working on another issue of Hexadusk. I've got about 30 pages done so far.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a while. I put a lot of detail in, it takes a while. And I'm also working on a project for a company called Storm King. It's a young adult graphic novel. I can't tell anything about it at this point because it's under wraps at this point. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep. Now Tom is also working on something for Storm King.
Yes,
You mentioned
he
that.
The other thing I'm working on is something with Louise Simonson.
Okay.
Yeah, which it's we're not sure of the format yet, but it's going to be more of a historical fantasy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And she is writing it. You are drawing it.
What's that?
Louis is writing it, and you are drawing it.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. It would be good to see. Like that would be a book I'll be looking forward to.
Yeah.
For the viewers who don't know about Hexadusk, do you want to give them like a brief note of what Hexadusk is?
Sure. Hexadusk is a sci-fi fantasy horror comic set in a imaginary galaxy where creatures called the Weird have come through a veil in the fabric of time and space to take over the living and dead bodies of whoever they can.
Oh, nice.
and they're not discerning about who they take over. So yeah, it goes from there. After a big war between two factions, the veil parts and these creatures start coming through, and it's chaos from there.
Yep. I love the characters, the designs of the characters, the way they conduct themselves in the books. I have the issue that I got from you, like I think a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's a nice world.
Thank you.
And that brings us to the next question. The Violated. That's a book that I write and I draw in. So if you have any words for that, any feedback, anything for me for the book.
Well, I haven't read it completely yet because I just got it. But from what I've seen so far, your storytelling is really, it has depth to it, and it has mood and has atmosphere, and I love stuff like that. So I'm really excited to read the whole thing, and the characters have a great aesthetic to them too. So that makes it even more exciting to read. I can tell who's who, and that's really important to me in comics. If you can't tell who the character's on, it's over for me at the get-go. But they look very unique and very interesting, and I'm really excited to read it. I'll probably do that when I get home tonight.
Thank you. I'll look forward to your note. Uh, that brings us to one more question that is for our audience. Mainly, a lot of our audience are from the Indian subcontinent. So I just wanted to know if there are any Indian characters that you have worked on in comics, any characters that have an Indian aesthetic. I know there are some characters in Star Wars that use that. So anything that you have worked on that you can share.
Well, in Star Wars, of course, the characters
Uh-huh.
with the Indian aesthetic I have worked on. Um, but another character comes to mind. In the very first book that I did,
Uh-huh.
called Arion, Lord of Atlantis, it was my very first creator-owned thing,
Okay,
for,
yeah, yeah.
creator-owned for DC Comics. There was a character, female character, who was I think she was an adjunct to the king, or a mage. I can't remember. I did this in 1981, mind you. It's been a while.
We'll find her.
But she had a serious Indian aesthetic to her, and she was a really beautiful, serious character, and I loved drawing her. She was great. She's in issue 1. Right to start out, she was right there. And the name, like say 1981, the name eludes me at the moment. But and also Atlantis, I tried to give parts of Atlantis a very Indian aesthetic too, with a lot of the structures of the buildings and all.
Nice.
But I'd have to go back and look at them to see exactly what I was doing.
We'll find out. We'll look for the book here. If we don't find it, we'll go to eBay and find it.
One, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, that would have been in the back of Warlord, or it might have been Arion 1, or it might have been in the back of Warlord. It started in Warlord for 8 issues, and then it. I think we had 3 years of its own series.
Oh yeah, that I might have that with me already then.
I don't think they've ever done a collection, so so good luck.
I can find. Then I have the Warlord issues.
I've seen the issue 1. I've seen several of those during the convention, so I know they're around.
We'll find it then.
Okay, thank you. If I can remember the character's name, I will let you know.
And that brings us to the final question, a bit contentious one. What is your take on AI in general and AI tools that are being now in assisting art and even like doing it?
You know, when AI first came out, I had to look at it. I had to see what it was, because you know, when Photoshop came out and the tools for that, I embraced that, and I looked at it and I said, okay, this is useful. I can make my art with that. Oops, I'm hitting the microphone.
No, that's fine.
I can make my art with that. I can use this to enhance my art. But when I tried out AI, I found it to be a imitative, soul-sucking kind of an experience, because there was not any true input necessary from me and my brain. I couldn't just, like, when I'm working, you're using your brain, you're using your hands, you're using your imagination, and how do I put this? The product you end up with is something that has engaged all of those things, your hands, your brain, your imagination. AI doesn't need any of that. And all it is anybody can put word salad in there and get, you know, 6-fingered people and, and cats with weirdly truncated bodies. I don't like it. I don't think it's anything I would ever use. I don't find it would be necessary, because I actually can draw. You know? I may not be able to do all the shiny bits that the AI does, but when I draw a cat, it's got a front end and a back end and a tail that doesn't meld into another tail.
Yep. No,
you know?
that
So it is
makes
just, it's artificial.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. I draw because it's fun. I draw because I love to draw. AI is not fun.
Yep.
It is, and it's stealing from artists, which I think is awful.
No, I still haven't tried it yet. I couldn't find an artist for the book, so I learned how to draw. It took me years.
There you go.
took me years to get where I'm at
And you
today.
did great.
But I haven't tried it. I don't plan on trying it.
Good.
Um, so I'll keep on trying to like that. It's a different experience altogether. Like when I'm, because I write the stories too, so when I'm writing, I'm in a different space, and when I'm drawing it, I'm in a different space.
Right,
I have to plan out what the panels should be, what everyone is doing, how the panels flow,
Right.
and I don't want to miss out on that if I.
Yeah, that's the fun and exciting part about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the part that's
Yeah.
enjoyable. It's the
It's
part that
the-
engages your brain.
Yeah.
And you're bringing that story to someone else
Yeah.
who's going to get excited about it.
Yep.
And that's what we do, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense, and with that we come to a conclusion for our question and answer. Thanks, Jan, for the time. You have been very generous, and I'll be waiting for the sketch whenever the sketch is done.
Okay.
With Ali.